Good morning and welcome into the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, service, and recreation. This is the J&J Truck and Auto Body pregame show presented by J&J Truck and Auto Body. For the highest quality work and hassle-free customer service, let J&J take away your stress. That's J&J Truck and Auto Body on East Philadelphia Street in Rapid City. Post 2 out of Casper and your Post 22 Hardhats right here in Rapid City. Set to do battle, and game 2 of this 3-game series, a doubleheader here today, and game 1 of this doubleheader here today after Post 22 took home the 1-run victory last night by a final score of 2-1. All 3 runs coming in the 4th inning. And that one, in a large part, helped out by an RBI triple by Wilson Kiefer. He ended up scoring the go-ahead run on a bases-loaded walk, and that's all she wrote. 2 runs for the Hardhats, only 1 for Casper, and Casper was helped out by a couple of wild pitches by the Hardhats starting pitcher, Wyatt Anderson, and he allowed run to come in and score for Casper. So 2-1 the victory for the Hardhats last night, and now they have their sights set on doubleheader here with Casper, the Oilers. Today's Keys to the Game are brought to you by Dakota Discount RV. Find the key to building lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. Take a look at their great selection of RVs at 2 locations. Dakota Discount RV is across from Cabela's and also on JB Road in Blackhawk. And the key for Game 1, put up some offense for your starting pitcher. Limited offense for Wyatt Anderson to work with on the mound. Now Palmer Jacobs takes the mound for the Hardhats, and he's looking to work with a lead early on here today as he goes for his 4th straight complete game. Yes, you heard that right. His last 3 starts, all 7 innings of complete game work for Palmer Jacobs as he takes the mound. Today's starting lineups are built by Connect Home Center. Whether it's residential or commercial, Connect Home Center has been your hometown lumberyard since 1928. For the visiting Casper Post 2 Oilers, it's Thomas Strokes, the second baseman, who leads things off. Grant Nipper, the designated hitter, bats second, followed by Caden Wilcox, the shortstop, and the third baseman, Shane Taggart, in the 4th spot. Eric Whitley bats 5th. He's in center field. The catcher, Bryce Laughlin, bats 6th. Carter McLean plays left field. He bats 7th. Sawyer Nelson gets the start at first base. He bats 8th. And Ashton Armstrong plays right field here today, and he bats 9th for head coach Kalen Hill and the Casper Post 2 Oilers. On the other side, the Post 22 Hardhats send Zeke Farley to the plate first. He's the center fielder. Amarian Saylor in left field. He bats 2nd, followed by Kai Jackson in the 3 spot. He's the designated hitter here today. Hayden Hollick, the first baseman, bats 4th. Harrison Good, the right fielder, 5th. Dylan Marsh at second base, he bats 6th. Peyton Tipton re-entered into the lineup. He's at the hot corner of third base and bats 7th. Philip Bentz does the catching. He bats 8th. And Wilson Kiefer, the shortstop, rounds things off for head coach Kelvin Torvey and the Post 22 Hardhats. Ceremonial tap of the Hardhats around Palmer Jacobs. And we are set for baseball here on a warm morning. Finally, some warm weather here in Rapid City. And it feels like summer once again here in Rapid City. Some umbrellas out for the fans to protect themselves from the sun, not the rain for once. The first pitch from Palmer Jacobs outside for ball 1, and we are underway at 10:57 local Mountain Time. Thomas Strokes in on the right side. Jacobs kicks and deals and misses the inside edge. 2 balls and no strikes. Last night for the leadoff man, Thomas Strokes, a walk, reached on a fielder's choice and flying to left. Well, just an 0 for 2 night for him. The 2-0 has called a strike right down the middle. And Jacobs into the strike zone for the first time, working solely out of the stretch. The 2-1 runs high and tight as Strokes bends out of the way of that one. Looking at some sweet chin music from Jacobs. The 3-1. High, ball 4. It's a leadoff walk on 5 pitches. Start off the ball game, and that's exactly how Casper started off last night's ball game, a leadoff walk. That walk ended up being stranded at second base in the first inning. Grant Nipper, last night's starting pitcher, today's designated hitter, steps in on the right side. First pitch from Jacobs misses high for ball 1. Palmer Jacobs on the mound this season. 33 innings pitched. This is his 8th appearance and 5th start. A line drive, base hit right back up the middle into center field. And a walk and a single has the Oilers in business to start off the top of the first. Putting runners on first and second, nobody out. A 4-1 record for Palmer Jacobs. 22 hits, make it 23 now. 16 runs, 13 earned runs, 12 walks, 39 strikeouts, 5 hit batters. A 2.76 ERA. Caden Wilcox steps in and goes after the first pitch, fouls it right at the plate, 0-1. As you heard in the pregame show, 3 straight and complete game wins for Palmer Jacobs. His last one came against Post 320. And actually it came against the 406 Flyers, final game of the Veterans Classic. The 0-1 misses downstairs, now the 1-1. 2 on, nobody out, the 1-1. Swung on, low chopper to the right side. Dylan Marsh over to his left. Only play to first, and he gains the out there. 4-3, the ground out, working as a pseudo-sacrifice as Strokes moves to third and Nipper to second. So 2 in scoring position now for Shane Taggart, the third baseman. Taggart last night, a double in the 4th inning, ended up scoring the Oilers' only run of the contest. First pitch, a bouncer right side. Hayden Hollick fields it in foul territory by a step. Would have been a very tough play to try and get Strokes at the plate, and it looked like he would have came home if he had to make the throw. Two on in scoring position, 0-1 the count on Taggart. 1 out. The 0-1, a strike on the outer edge, now 0-2. Ben's calling the signs and shows a target up high, the 0-2. Swing and a miss on the high fastball. Exactly where Phil Benz wanted that baseball. And he got the fastball high for Taggart to go right around with the strikeout. Huge out number 2, and 2 men both in scoring position. Now with 2 gone for Eric Whitley, the center fielder. First pitch to Whitley, a fly ball, shallow right field. Good. His first step was in. Now he goes back and makes the grab for out number 3. So the Oilers strand a couple of base runners after a leadoff walk and a single. And they failed to score after 1/2 inning of play. We're scoreless. Hardhats to bat for the first time right after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. Adam Birch alongside you, bringing you Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on Hardhats TV and 106.7 FM, 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City. Bottom of inning number 1, and Jordan Thorpe takes the mound for the Casper Oilers. The right-hander work out of the windup and will pull up his numbers on the season. For Thorpe, make sure I got the vowel right in his name. It's either Thorpe or Tharp. Either way, this is his second start, third appearance overall, an 0-1 record, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 4 walks to 2 strikeouts, 1 hit batter, an elevated 5.25 ERA over 5 1/3. And it is Tharp. Sometimes you compare managers' handwriting to doctors. It's sometimes a bunch of scribbles. And it makes me more and more thankful for the handwriting of Coach Torvey. Casper taps their gloves around Jordan Tharp, and Zeke Farley steps in on the right side to begin the bottom of the first. Scoreless after 1/2 inning of play, just 1 hit on the board against Palmer Jacobs. First pitch to Zeke Farley, down and away, ball 1. Zeke Farley struggled a little bit last night, reached on an error to start off the bottom of the first, struck out in the second, walked in the fourth, and then struck out in the 6th. Fouls away the 1-0 pitch back to the screen, even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. So no hits for Farley, extends his on-base streak. However, the 1-1 breaking ball well outside, and Farley lays off of it. 2 balls and a strike now. 2-1, downstairs, 3-1. You risk putting a lot of speed on base right away if you allow Farley to reach. Here's the 3-1. Chopper up the middle, fielded by the second baseman Strokes. He fires the first in time. Out number 1.
Number 13 left field for the Hardhats, Amarian Saylor.
Now Amarian Saylor, the left fielder. There will be a left-handed bat in this Hardhats lineup. It's Kai Jackson. He bats third today as a designated hitter. Tharp winds, kicks, deals, in the first pitch breaking ball. Caught a strike on the inner edge, 0-1. For Amarian Saylor last night, a single in the first, flying to right in the second, and drill walk in the 4th. Looks at a called strike 2. Back-to-back breaking balls. This one a little bit more towards the center of the plate, right across the belt. Now no balls and 2 strikes. Tharp into the wind, and the 0-2 is strike 3 call. Lower outside corner. Perfectly placed fastball to get Saylor down looking. And quickly 2 up, 2 gone against Jordan Tharp. Here's that left-handed bat. It's Kai Jackson. They shift Jackson on the right side of the infield just a little bit. Tharp facing a left-hander, misses well outside on his first pitch. 1 ball and no strikes. And Jackson, a high fly ball, deep center field. Back is the center fielder. He can't get there. One bounces the wall. Jackson rounds first. He digs for second. He's in with a stand-up 2-out double. The dead center field. Eric Whitley gave chase in center. But you're a lonely man out there in center field when that ball burns you like it, and that one did. No backup on the play because of how straight it was hit. 2 outs, man on second base for the Hardhats, and Hayden Hollick will step in on the right side. Waves the bat head out in front. And ready for his first pitch from Tharp. Jackson off a second, and Hollick looks at a called strike one on the outer edge. Hollick shaking his head a little bit after that. Now ready for that called strike. The 0-1, fouled straight back over the awning and off the indoor facility. No balls and 2 strikes. Two strikes on Hayden Hollick. Kai Jackson off a second. Here's the 2-strike pitch. It's a bouncer right back to Tharp on the mound. He runs 3/4 of the way on underhand flip, and in time, out number 3. So the Hardhats strand a 2-out base runner, and we're scoreless after 1 inning of play. Heading to the second after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. We're set for inning number 2, and Palmer Jacobs back to the mound for the Hardhats. Oilers sent 5 to the plate in the opening half inning of play. It's the catcher, Bryce Laughlin, to lead things off, followed by left fielder Carter McLean and Sawyer Nelson, the first baseman. Laughlin steps in on the right side, a tap of the plate there, and he rests his white bat on his right shoulder. Pops it up as Jacobs comes set, and Jacobs misses outside for ball 1. Bryce Laughlin coming into play, 11 hits and 38 tries, and he looks at a called strike. That's good enough for a .289 average. 808 OPS. And found straight back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 8 of those hits singles, 3 doubles. 9 driven in. The 1-2, breaking ball, and it's lifted into left field, down for a base hit. Amarian Saylor cuts it off, but it's a leadoff single for Bryce Laughlin.
Laughlin single.
And a leadoff base runner once again for the Oilers against Palmer Jacobs. Warm day for baseball here. Right around 80 degrees, but in the sunshine and on the turf here, and it feels a little bit over 80 degrees. Here's Carter McLean. He drops down a bunt up the third base line. Peyton Tipton bare hands, fires to first, not in time. And it's an infield bunt single for Carter McLean. 2 on, nobody out once again for Casper. Just as they had in the first inning, Sawyer Nelson, the first baseman, steps in. So an all right-handed lineup for Casper once again, as they showed last night. Out hitting the Hardhats already 3-1. Nelson squares the bunt early, showing bunt, and Hollick comes in crashing. He tags the runner out in the baseline. and it still works as a sacrifice. Hollick came in and it landed at his feet. Very quick out, and thought about going to third after getting that out, but with the bunt, able to advance both of the runners, Lachlan to third, McLean to second. Jacobs against Ashton Armstrong now, and he catches the outer edge with a fastball 0-1. So 1 out, men on second and third, scoreless top of the second. Armstrong ready for the 0-1. Jacobs set, and Ben sets up down and away, and Ashton Armstrong swings right through another fastball. Down in the count he goes 0-2. Armstrong batting .320. The 0-2 down and away. Breaking ball that time from Jacobs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 16 hits, 15 singles and a double. The 1-2. Inside edge, upper inside edge, make it. And it's a called strike 3. Backwards K in the book. And out number 2. Top of the order now in Thomas Strokes. Second and third, 2 gone. Still scoreless. And Casper threatening once again. Jacob sidesteps and delivers, and it's a ball 1 outside. Defense behind Palmer Jacobs. It's Amarian Saylor in left field, Zeke Farley in center field, Harrison Good in right field, Peyton Tipton at third base, Wilson Kiefer the shortstop, Dylan March the second baseman, and Hayden Hollick at first base. A bouncer up the middle into center field, and it's an RBI single as the runner trips around third base and slides in there. It's 1-0 Casper here in the top of the second. RBI for Thomas Strokes. Phil Bentz does the catching for Palmer Jacobs. Lachlan scores. McLean put a late stop sign on him and held him up. On the corners with 2 gone, and a line drive base hit in the left field. An RBI single now for Grant Nipper, and Casper takes a 2-0 lead, all with 2 outs. Grant Nipper is 2 for 2, both singles, and this one drives in a run against Palmer Jacobs. Two on, 2 gone, and the first pitch to Caden Wilcox misses downstairs for ball 1. 5 hits already against Jacobs. Set and the 1-0. Low. Maybe a touch outside, and 2 balls and no strikes on Wilcox. Jacobs ready, a peek at second. Double takes there, and the 2-0. A strike on the outer edge. 2 balls and a strike. 2-0 Casper here in the top of the second. Casper struck first in the 4th last night with their 1 and only run. 2-1, chopped, foul behind the plate, even count 2-2. And the Hardhats immediately countered in the bottom half of that 4th inning. Tied and took the lead. The 2-2. Breaking ball, chopped right back to Jacobs on the mound. He fields a high bounce and fires the first in time for out number 3. But Casper takes the lead first. It's 2-0 after 1.5 innings of play. And Hardhats try and counter right after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are your community. We are your neighbors. Our family of doctors are invested in our community. At Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, we are honored to help you along the journey from injury to recovery. You have a choice with Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you.
Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. It's 2-0 Casper as we begin the bottom of the second. 2 runs in the top half of the second inning. And Harrison Good to lead things off. 5, 6, and 7 on the Hardhats lineup. Harrison Good, the right fielder. Dylan Marsh, the second baseman. And Peyton Tipton, the third baseman, against Jordan Tharp. Tharp on the far first base side. He winds, kicks, deals, and first pitch is bunted up the third base line, foul. No balls and a strike. Harrison Good last night hit the ball hard a couple of times. Fly to left on a scorcher. 0-1, bouncer to short. Wilcox on the ground. He fields and fires to first, and it's wild up first base. It takes a weird carom right back to the first baseman, Nelson. So Harrison Good on with
The batter, number 16, Dylan Marsh.
leadoff error. Leadoff base runner for the Hardhats. That's the first they've had in the first 2 innings. Harrison Good with plenty of speed aboard first base. Now for Dylan Marsh. And I check on Harrison Good immediately before the first pitch to Marsh. He dives back in safely. Marsh, the second baseman, got the start at the hot corner last night. And went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Chopper up the first base line. That's a swinging bunt. It stays fair. The catcher fires the first in time. Good to second on what will be just scored a 2-3 ground out. It works as a pseudo sacrifice. Marsh kind of checked his swing, kind of protecting himself from that ball high and tight. Runner on second for Peyton Tipton now. 2 taps of the plate on the right side. 2-0 Casper. And Tipton looks at a called strike 1 right below the belt. 0-1. Peyton Tipton on the season. Still on a 15-game on-base streak. Has not played for several games. The 0-1, a high fly ball down the left field line, way foul. But plenty of power with Peyton Tipton's bat, especially to the pull side. No balls and 2 strikes now on Tipton. Phil Bentz, the catcher, on deck, barring a double play. 2-0 Casper. Tharp, a long look in. Now comes sent. Catcher Lachlan wants the ball right at the belt, and Tipton pops it up behind the plate. Lachlan gives chase, but he runs out of room. And bounces right in front of me, almost bouncing into the booth. No balls and 2 strikes. The count remains on Peyton Tipton. This season for Peyton, a .231 hitter. 8 singles, 1 double, 2 triples, and a home run. 12 hits in 52 at-bats. The 2-strike pitch once again from Tharp to Tipton. Outside by a touch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good on second, 1 gone. Tharp stares him down there. Both middle infielders crashing into that second base bag, and Tipton fouls it off the Hardhats net in front of their dugout. Still ball and 2 strikes on Tipton. Tharp comes set. A peek at second. The 1-2. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Tipton goes down swinging. That's out number 2, and strikeout number 2 overall for Jordan Tharp.
The batter, catcher number 21, Philip Bentz.
Now the catcher, Phil Bentz. Runner on second, 2 gone. Hardhats trailing 2-0. Phil Bentz bats from the right side, and a pickoff move back to second. A lazy throw to Strokes, covering the bag. Just keeping an eye on him there. Phil Bentz this season, .250 average. And he looks at ball 1, a fastball downstairs. 7 hits, all singles for Philip, the young catcher. Had a 5-game on-base streak earlier on this season. It was eventually snapped against Spearfish. The 1-0 and down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. The Hardhats will see that same Spearfish club come Thursday. Up by 90 in Spearfish. 2-0, misses low. 3-0 on the Hardhats catcher. So next week the Hardhats play over at Pete Lean Field on Wednesday night. A 3-0 and get me over fastball taken all the way. 3 balls and a strike. Against post 320, the Stars. And then they travel to Spearfish on Thursday for a doubleheader. 3-1, taken at the knees, called strike 2, and 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count now on Phil Bentz. They travel to Denver next weekend. Payoff pitch, and it misses down and away. Harrison Good was running on the pitch. He ends up at third base with the ball on the turf. Bentz trots his way down to first. It'll be runners on the corners for Wilson Kiefer.
Wilson Kiefer.
Wilson Kiefer, the Claiborne Lowson Sabres player of the game last night, because of his RBI triple in the 4th inning, ended up scoring the winning run because of a bases loaded base on balls. 2-1 the final for the Hardhats last night. It looks at a called strike right below the belt, 0-1. Runners on the corners here. Hardhats trailing 2-0. Kiefer on the right side. Tharp likes the sign, a nod of his head, a peek at first, and comes set. Looks behind him to peek at first, and the bouncer right back up the middle into center field for a base hit. Wilson Kiefer continues to produce, and it's 2-1. Casper. Kiefer with the RBI base knock.
Number 28, C. Farley.
Now the top of the order for the Hardhats. Still 2 outs now. Runners on first and second. 2-1 our score. Casper still leading. Zeke Farley bounced to second his first time at the plate. Tharp from the stretch, sidesteps and deals. The first pitch, a breaking ball, chopper to short. They go to short way to second in time, out number 3. But the Hardhats cut into their deficit and cut the deficit in half from 2-0 to 2-1. And we head to the third after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. 2-1 our score on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. And this time, the 2-1 in favor of Casper. After 2, we ended a third. Palmer Jacobs back to the mound for the Hardhats. Of course, the Hardhats winning 2-1 last night. All 3 of those runs coming in the 4th inning. And now the Hardhats cutting their deficit in half in the bottom half of the 2nd, after 2 put up in the top half of that 2nd inning. So it's 2-1 Oilers. Shane Taggart leads things off, 4, 5, and 6 against Palmer Jacobs. Second at bat for Taggart in the 4 spot. And Jacobs catches the inside edge, called strike 1. Tap of the plate on the right side for Taggart. He struck out against Jacobs, swinging his first time. A bouncer left side. Peyton Tipton at third. Fields and fires to first, and it's in time, out number 1. Tipton gathered himself, moving towards the first base bag, and fired the strong throw across. Taggart made it a little bit closer than expected. But 5-3 the first out. So 1 out, nobody on, 2-1 Casper, and here is Eric Whitley. Whitley pops it up shallow left center field. The shortstop, Wilson Kiefer, goes out, calls everyone off, and makes the grab for out number 2 quickly. 2 outs for Casper here in the top of the 3rd. Whitley moves to 0 for 2 on the day. Couple of flyouts. Now the catcher, Bryce Laughlin. A single and a run scored in the 2-run 2nd inning for Laughlin. On a back-to-back hits for Casper. To lead off that 2nd inning, ended up with 2 outs before they finally scored. This one popped up shallow right field. Harrison Good coming in, but it's Dylan Marsh to call him off and make the grab, out number 3. Very quick 3rd inning for Palmer Jacobs. He gets the high fives as he walks his way into the dugout. And the Hardhats sent back to the backs, trailing 2 runs to 1. As we will return here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.
Gunderson, Palmer, Nelson, and Ashmore has provided a full range of legal services for over 40 years in Rapid City. As one of the largest and highly respected law firms in western South Dakota and multi-state region, our expert team of diversified attorneys offer a very personalized style of legal representation. Whether it's support and recommendations with legal documents or the strongest proponent in a court of law, trusting who you hire as your advocate is vital in achieving the best results. Contact the experienced professionals today at Gunderson, Palmer, Nelson, and Ashmore Attorneys at Law.
Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth. Sales, service, and recreation. 2-1 our score in favor of Casper. A very quick top of the 3rd for Palmer Jacobs on the mound. And he sends the Hardhats back to the bats. 2, 3, and 4 due up against Jordan Tharp. That means Amarian Saylor, Kai Jackson, and Hayden Hollick are scheduled to hit. Amarian Saylor went down looking in his first at-bat against Tharp. At the dish now, he steps in on the right side, and the first pitch to Saylor misses high for ball 1. Casper already 5 hits in this ball game, out hitting the Hardhats 5-2. The 1-0 chopped up the third base line foul. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Into the wind, he kicks and deals the 1-1, fouled straight back to the screen, and now 1 ball and 2 strikes. That one an elevated pitch, and Saylor just caught up to it. The 1-2, high, even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hardhats dugout looking for a little bit of energy, a little bit more chatter from that dugout. The 2-2, swing and a miss. Saylor foul tips it in the glove of Lachlan. He goes down swinging for out number 1. Third strikeout overall for Jordan Tharp. Now Kai Jackson. A double his first time to dead center field, and he chops this one to the right side. The second baseman, Thomas Strokes, fires to first in time, out number 2. And quickly, 2 up, 2 gone for the Hardhats.
The first baseman, number 20, Hayden Hollick.
Now Hayden Hollick. Bouncer back to the mound. His first trip to the plate, all for 1 day. First pitch to Hollick, he ducks for cover as that one misses inside, ball 1. The 1-0, down and away, breaking ball that time that bounced in front of the plate. 2 balls and no strikes, ended up back at the screen. Tharp into the wind, and the 2-0. Checked his swing at a fastball at the top of the zone. Yes, he went around, says our field umpire. So 2 balls and a strike. 2-1, fouled back off the indoor facility. The Batu's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody on, 2 gone. Tharp winds, kicks, deals, and the 2-2. Breaking ball called strike 3. A backwards K in the book, and a very quick third inning for Jordan Tharp. Very quick third inning overall. It's 2-1 Casper. We'll be back right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Top of inning number 4, it's 2-1 Casper, post 2 Oilers. Over your post 22 Hardhats right here in Rapid City. Hardhats being out hit 5-2. Also error on the board for Casper. It's Carter McLean to lead things off. 7, 8, and 9, the bottom third of the Casper lineup. McLean, a single, a bunt single, his first time. Dropped it up the third base line. Swings away here and pops it up, foul out of play. No balls and a strike. Palmer Jacobs Kicks and deals. The 0-1 breaking ball called strike 2, and now no balls and 2 strikes. Jacobs approaching 40 pitches. This will be pitch number 39. Set in the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes McLean, swinging for out number 1. Third strikeout overall for Palmer Jacobs. Now Sawyer Nelson at the dish. Nelson sacrificed bunt his first time, and he swings away here, pops it foul, out of play. No balls and a strike. Nobody on and 1 gone. 2-1 in the top of the 4th. The 0-1, breaking ball misses high. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jacobs toes the rubber on the far first base side and twirls the baseball behind his back. Set in the 1-1, high with a fastball that Nelson ducked out of the way of. 2 balls and a strike now. No wind here as we approach the 12 o'clock hour. Swing and a miss by Nelson, even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2. Breaking ball misses a little bit high. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. 1 out, nobody on. Jacobs ready, here's the payoff. And it's swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts by Palmer Jacobs. And the 4th overall for him, it's out number 2. Ashton Armstrong now the right fielder. 2 outs, nobody on. The right fielder today, catcher last night, might get the start behind the plate for game 2. And a bouncer right side, Dylan Marsh doesn't have to move at all. He fires the first in time, out number 3. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out for Palmer Jacobs, and that completes inning number 4 for him. We're through 3.5. It's 2-1 Casper. Back in a moment right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. Bottom of inning number 4, Hardhats still trailing 2-1. Against Jordan Tharp. All 3 runs in this ball game scored in the 2nd inning. 2 in the top half, 1 in the bottom half. Harrison good to lead things off for the Hardhats, and he swings through a first pitch breaking ball that just sank underneath the bat of him. 0-1. Into the wind and the 0-1. Their breaking ball just missed a touch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Leadoff man here for the Hardhats in the 4th. The 1-1. Outside once again. This time a fastball. So 2 balls and a strike. Tharp taking an extra moment to himself, pacing behind the mound. What little breeze there is, blowing a little bit right to left. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, even count now on Harrison Good, 2-2. Quickly into the wind in the 2-2. Bouncer up the third baseline, foul. Count remains 2-2. It'll be Good, Marsh, and Tipton in the fourth. Exact same three that came up in the second inning. A bouncer just short on the 2-2. Wilcox fires the first in time, out number 1. Harrison Good bounced it to short his first time, and it was a low throw by Wilcox to allow Harrison Good to reach on the error. This time, a successful 6-3 put out for Wilcox. Here's Dylan Marsh. He bends out of the way of the first pitch, breaking ball for ball 1. Low protecting swing from Dylan Marsh as he pops it foul behind the plate. And it ended up being a fair ball up the first baseline. The catcher, Lachlan, threw him out. 2-3 in the book. Even count now, 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Into the wind and the 1-1. Checked his swing and misses down and away. No appeal down to first. Some cotton flying through the air with a slight breeze. And the 2-1, a line drive to left center field. That'll drop down for a base hit. A high bounce, and it bounces over the head of the left fielder. Sliding attempt by the center fielder, backing him up. McLean had the ball bounce over his head. Whitley backed him up on the play. And Marsh ends up in second base with a little bit of a bow after the shenanigans caused by the turf here at Black Hills Surgical Hospital Ballpark. Here's Peyton Tipton, runner on second, 1 gone. Tipton goes after the first pitch and swings right through it, 0-1. Osby scored a double for Dylan Marsh. Tying run in scoring position. The 0-1. Strike. Nope. A ball outside. Had the north-south, not the east-west from my vantage point. Fastball that time from Tharp. Stares down Dylan Marsh. Kicks and deals the 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Tipton struck out swinging his first time. Tharp looks into Lachlan. Sets his target. And the 2-1. Swing and a miss, even count now 2-2. A fastball that time. Two balls and 2 strikes. Marsh off a second, 1 gone. The 2-2, swing and a miss. Tipton goes down swinging. Out number 2. 5th strikeout overall for Jordan Tharp. And now it's up to Philip Bentz. 2 outs. Marsh still off of second base after his 1-out double. First pitch to Bentz, misses downstairs, ball 1. Marsh a pretty decent secondary lead. Both middle infielders protecting that second base bag, trying to hold him on. Strokes backs off and Wilcox staying put right behind Marsh. And Bentz looks at ball 2 down and in. So a big gap on the left side, pole side of the infield. usually see one middle infielder holding the runner on. Bouncer to left side as the third baseman had a weird bounce. He fires across in time for out number 3. Taggart made the play, and the Hardhats strand a 1-out double at second base. And they trail 2-1 as we head to the 5th. Back in a moment right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Inning number 5 now. And to the top of the Casper lineup to lead things off. Casper leading 2-1 after trailing for the final 3 innings of the ball game last night 2-1. They threatened several times, including in the top of the 7th, where they ended up straining the bases full. Thomas Strokes leads things off. He's 1 for 1, an RBI single and a walk. Been on base twice. 2-1 our score. Jacobs kicks and deals, and the first pitch misses a little bit high for ball 1. Strokes, Nipper, and Wilcox. Strokes and Nipper have provided the offense. Both of the runs batted in. Strokes looks at uncalled strike right across the belt. Pins down, and the 1-1, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Thomas Strokes. Second baseman for Casper. The 1-2. Bouncer right back up the middle, but it's fielded by Kiefer. A strong throw to first in time. Out number 1. So Strokes retired for the first time. Hardhats today in their all-white uniforms, white tops, white pants. Rapid City across the chest of those white tops in red letters. Numbers on their backs and on the front. And Jacobs misses outside for ball 1 on Grant Nipper. That time a breaking ball. Casper wore orange last night. Today, and wear blue tops. Nipper bops it up, down, out of play. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue tops and red number on their back. Casper across the chest and a number below that in the red lettering. Jacobs misses down and away with a breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. Nipper 2 for 2, both singles, drove in a run. 2-1, misses inside. And now 3 balls and a strike. Gray pants that go along with those blue tops. 3-1, a line drive, base hit in the left field, cut off by Amarian Sandler, and Grant Nipper is 3 for 3, all singles here today against Palmer Jacobs.
The shortstop for 23, Wilcox on the bat.
This one comes with one out here in the 5th. Caden Wilcox, the 3-bat, is 0 for 2. Bouncer to second and a bouncer back to Jacobs. Nipper takes his lead and Wilcox looks at ball 1 downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Benz flashes the signs and a pickoff move over to first in time. Back safely. The 1-0 from Jacobs. Down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Palmer Jacobs approaching 60 pitches now. This will be pitch number 58. The 2-0, swing and a miss. A big hack at that one from Wilcox. Nothing but air that time. And pickoff move over to first. And it hits Nipper off the shoulder. Looks to be all right, bending out of the way. Palmer Jacobs making sure he's all right, apologizing to his opponent. Nipper waved him off. The 2-1. Bouncer to short. Kiefer to second for 1. Marsh to first. Not in time. Wilcox beats out the double play and reaches on the fielder's choice. Kind of a slow roller to Kiefer. He had to sit back on it. They do gain the lead out. So Nipper retired. Wilcox on first now with 2 gone. And Shane Taggart, the new batter, he's 0 for 2. Strikeout and a bouncer to Tipton at third. First pitch to Taggart, down and away, ball 1. Wind picking up a little bit here at the ballpark. Blowing about straight in now. A bouncer left side. A long run for Marsh. He fields and fires to first in time. Marsh roaming to his left and making the play. Out number 3. Oilers strand a base runner. They still lead 2-1 as we head to the bottom half of inning number 5. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Hardhats when we return right here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. Hardhats batting in the bottom of the 5th, trailing 2-1. It'll be Wilson Kiefer, Zeke Farley, and Amarian Saylor. Kiefer, the RBI single, the lone run batted in here in this one. He waves at first pitch, breaking ball downstairs. Asked for time before that pitch, didn't get time granted. He has to settle back in now. Down on the count, no balls and a strike. And Kiefer looks at ball 1 down and away. Even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kiefer that RBI single in the second and came with 2 outs. Into the line in the 1-1. Breaking ball called strike 2. Inside edge. The 1-2 now from Tharp. Down and away, even count 2-2. Leadoff man for the Hardhats here in the 5th inning. First of a doubleheader here today. And the 2-2 driven to right field. It hangs up into the glove of Armstrong for out number 1.
The batter of 28, Zeke Farley.
Top of the Hardhats lineup now in Zeke Farley. He bats for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2 so far. Tharp into the line, and the first pitch to Farley, a bouncer up the middle, past Tharp on the mound, bobbled by the shortstop Wilcox, and Farley will reach. We'll see if that's ruled a hit or an error. I would think it would be a hit, and it is on the scoreboard at least. So a single for Zeke Farley. And I'll bring up a Marion Saylor. Check on Farley before the first pitch. He's back in safely. Saylor has warned the caller so far. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging against Tharp. First pitch, outside ball 1. Plenty of speed on first base. That's a tying run. Tharp comes set for the 1-0. And a big off move over to first. Farley dives back in. And the throw back to the pitcher gets away. But Taggart was awake at third. The 1-0 to Marion Saylor. And Saylor looks at ball 2 outside. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Tharp set once again at his right ear. Looks to first, and the 2-0 down and away. 3 balls and no strikes. Marion Saylor, runner on first, 1 gone. Tharp an extra moment to himself before the 3-0. Now the wind picking up a little bit more, blowing right to left or a little bit straight in. 3-0, down low for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk drawn by Marion Saylor. He's on base for the first time today. It'll be first and second with 1 out. A nice opportunity for the Hardhats. It's the first time the Hardhats have really threatened with less than 2 outs outside of when they scored in the second. Kai Jackson steps in on the left side. One for 2 is Jackson. First pitch popped up. Shallow outfield, the shortstop underneath of it. Infield fly is the call, and the shortstop Wilcox makes the grab for out number 2.
Number 28, Holly.
Now Hayden Hollick, 0 for 2 day for Hollick. Runner in scoring position is the tying run. Hardhats trailing 2-1. Tharp set, stares down the runner at second, and the first pitch, breaking ball called strike 1. Farley at second, Saylor off of first. The 0-1 to Hollick. As Farley takes an extra step. Long pause, and Tharp delivers ball 1 inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hollick. Struck out looking in the third. Bounce back to Tharp on the mounds to end the first inning. 1-1 outside. 2 balls and a strike. Tharp. That was pitch number 74. This will be his 75th. And time asked for by Casper as head coach Kalen Hill comes out of the dugout. He'll bring the entire Casper infield around him, hanging on to a 2-1 lead. Tharp is trying to dig deep here. Hardhats not had a 1-out double last inning. Stranded Marsh right there at second. Went down in order in the third. Scored the lone run in the second inning. RBI single for Wilson Kiefer. And a double in the first by Kai Jackson. He was stranded there. Try not to strand Farley at second. Now visit over. And now the 2-1 to Hollick. Strike called at the belt outer edge. 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 gone. Hardhats being out hit 6-4. The 2-2 high, and Hollick ducks out of the way. 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Hollick. Tharp, a nod of the head, and the payoff. Tharp to Hollick. Here it is. Fly ball right side out of play. Hollick stays alive. When the Hardhats failed to score first, they picked up a win last night after failing to score first. They're 4-8 now. Hollick looks at a called strike 3 at the top of the zone. And he goes down looking for out number 3. 2-1 Casper. We head to the 6th after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. Hardhats trailing 2-1. Stranded a couple men on last inning, the bottom of the 5th. So we head to the 6th. Palmer Jacobs back to the hill. When Jacobs is the starter this season, the Hardhats are 3-1. Bouncer on the left side, foul ball up the third base line. Tipton was ready to fire it off his back foot. Eric Whitley leads things off, followed by Bryce Laughlin and Carter McLean. 0-1 the count on Whitley. The 0-1, squared to bunt, and pulled back. It's ball one outside. Whitley almost ended up in front of the plate. Jacobs ready, and the 1-1. Strike at the belt. Outer edge, 1-2. Hardhats, when trailing after 5, they're 1-10 this season. And that one swung on and missed. And now our umpires will converge. It sounded like a foul ball. Our home plate umpire did not call foul ball. So Whitley ended up at first base, and they do rule foul ball. Immediately, Coach Torvey pleading his case for a foul ball. That's exactly what they do agree on. So Whitley back in the box. A ball and 2 strikes, the count. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back to the screen, and a bounce into first. That one, he did not make contact of. It just hit off the top of Bentz's glove. So it's a strikeout, and he reaches on the drop third strike. Even with the carom back to Bentz, unable to get Whitley out. So another leadoff base runner for the Oilers. Kind of a sloppy start to this inning. First pitch to Bryce Laughlin, the catcher, as a called strike 1. No balls in the strike. Jacobs nods his head and wants a relook at the signs. Now the 0-1. Breaking ball, inside edge, called strike 2. 2 strikes now on Bryce Laughlin. 1 for 2 day, a single and a run scored in that second inning. The 0-2 popped up right side. It'll reach out of play. Count remains 0-2 on the Oilers catcher. Two-strike pitch from Jacobs. Runner takes off and misses in front of the plate and ends up right by the Hardhats dugout. So easily to second is Whitley on a stolen base. Ball and 2 strikes now on Laughlin. Runner in scoring position. Here's the 1-2. Popped up on the infield. This one playable. Palmer Jacobs off the mound, and it's Peyton Tipton to call him off at the very last second and make the play for out number 2. Round number 1, rather. Now Carter McLean. 1 for 2 of an infield bunt single and a run scored in the second inning. Struck out his last trip in the 4th. 1 out man on second. And Jacobs, after a long pause, just steps off. Two to 1 our score in favor of Casper. They've led since the second inning. And a first pitch swing and a miss by McLean, 0-1. The ball's in the strike. Benz looks into the dugout and flashes a sign to Jacobs. The 0-1, swing and a miss. Breaking ball that time. No balls and 2 strikes. Jacobs likes to sign a peek at second, and time is asked for at the plate. The 0-2. Strike 3 called right across the belt, and it froze Carter McLean. He goes down for out number 2. Backwards K in the book is strikeout number 5 overall for Palmer Jacobs. Sawyer Nelson now, the first baseman, in at the dish on the right side. First pitch found straight off the netting. 0-1. He's 0 for 1 today, dropped down a sacrifice bunt in the second inning. Struck out his last trip in the 4th. The 0-1, swing and a miss, now no balls and 2 strikes on Nelson. Jacobs set, and the 2-strike pitch. Strike 3 on the outside edge, and a backwards K, back-to-back backwards Ks. That's strikeout number 7 for Palmer Jacobs, and out number 3 in the 6th. Hardhats back to the bats. They trail 2-1, heading to the bottom of the 6th after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. Bottom of inning number 6, the Hardhats trailing 2-1. And it'll be Harrison Good, Dylan Marsh, and Peyton Tipton. Play things off. New arm on the mound for Casper. The call to the bullpen. And it's Nolan Hornecker on the mound for Casper. Right-hander on the mound. Hornecker, this is his 8th appearance. He's gone 12 innings so far, an 0-2 record, 20 hits, 18 runs, 10 earned runs, 13 strikeouts to 5 walks, has hit 2 batters, a 5.83 ERA. Wines kicks, deals in the first pitch to Harrison. Good, a line drive to deep center field, but right into the glove of Eric Whitley for out number 1, a loud out number 1. Whitley read it well. And Good tried to jump ball over the first pitch from Hornecker. Here's Dylan Marsh, 1 for 2, a double his last trip. First pitch from Hornecker misses high for ball 1. Into the line, the 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. So Tharp's day is done. The 2-0 fouled back to the screen. 2 balls and a strike on Marsh. That 1 for 2 day, the double his last trip, he bounced right in front of the catcher up the first base line his first try. The 2-1, he ducks out of the way of it. And it becomes 3 balls and a strike. And Marsh looks at ball 4 outside. So a 5-pitch, 1-out walk drawn by Dylan Marsh. He's on first, and it brings up Peyton Tipton. And it looked like Tipton went down to the bullpen to start warming up. So it'll be a pinch hitter in for the Hardhats. We'll see who that is. It's Wyatt Anderson in for Tipton. Anderson was a late scratch as the designated hitter here today. Comes in as a pinch hitter here. Big spot, runner on first, that's the tying run. Anderson did not bat last night as a starting pitcher. Finished the ball game at third base. I guess he would take over at the hot corner in place of Tipton. Check on Marsh, he dives back in safely. Anderson still awaiting his first pitch of the weekend. Here it is from Hornecker, and he ducks out of the way of it for ball 1. Wind blowing rather strongly now. All 3 flags off the scoreboard blowing right to left and swirling in. Anderson ducks out and bends out of the way of the 2-0 fastball. The 1-0 fastball. 2 balls and no strikes now on Anderson. Runner on first, 1 gone. Hardhats trailing 2-1. Hornecker comes set after a peek at Marsh. Delivers, and it's a line drive to deep right field. Back is the right fielder. He can't get there. That's Armstrong. It bounces up against the wall. Marsh, round second. He heads for third, and in there at third base, it's a double for Wyatt Anderson. And the Hardhats now tying run at third base. Go-ahead run at second base with Philip Bentz coming to the plate. Boy, how crucial is it for the Hardhats to have Wyatt Anderson's bat in this lineup? He struggled last night at the plate, and Anderson drives one out to the wall, to the opposite field. And his only at-bat of the weekend so far. Marsh at third, Anderson at second, 2-1. Hardhats trailing. We're in the bottom of the 6th. And here comes a coach out of the Casper dugout once again, right as Ben stepped in. Nolan Hornecker, once again, just his 8th appearance and an 0-2 record. His whip, his walks plus hits per inning pitched, is over 2. He's allowed a walk and a hit here in this 6th inning, in his first inning of work. So right at that whip percentage average. Philip Bentz is the new batter. We've seen the Hardhats try the squeeze before. So keep that in mind as Philip Bentz gets ready to hit. Had a conversation with Coach Torvey up the third base line. Coach Ewing came in and conversed as well. Some more arms being sent down to the bullpen. And now, Bentz is ready for the first pitch from Hornecker. First pitch, he jumps all over it and goes to second. The throw to first, and it's wild. And up the first base line, 2 runs come in to score, and the Hardhats take the lead just like that. Oh boy, a crucial error on a bouncer to second. Thomas Strokes. And the Hardhats take the lead in the bottom of the 6th. It would have been just a bouncer to the right side. Only play for Strokes was to first. They would have taken the second out to surrender to the tying run. Now Wilson Kiefer, he squares the bunt, pulls back, and misses downstairs ball 1. But instead, Thomas Strokes' throw missed low and got past the first baseman Sawyer Nelson and went up against a Casper dugout. Allowed Marsh to score right behind Harrison Good. This one, a bouncer up the middle, off the shortstop's legs, and into center field. That's Wilcox. This one, a harder hit ball. We'll see if that's a single for Wilson Kiefer. Now Zeke Farley, 2 on, 1 out. The Hardhats leading 3-2 on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. Hornecker set a peek at second, kicks and deals, and misses down and away with a breaking ball for ball 1. So 2 pitchers throwing in the Hardhats bullpen. Now holding on to a lead. The 1-0, chopper right at the plate off the ankle of Zeke Farley. He tosses his helmet in pain. Right off his front ankle. And Zeke Farley's in a lot of pain. Farley's had that happen to him before. And some players like to wear the ankle brace or shin guard on their front foot. But Farley, with his speed, doesn't like that to wear those. And you don't see too many of those at this Legion level. Zeke Farley will try and stay in this ball game. Shaking off his left ankle. Grabs his helmet from his teammate Amarian Saylor. Still trying to walk it off. 2 balls and a strike on Farley. 1-1 rather. Farley steps back in on the right side and ready for the 1-1. Hornecker set. And the 1-1 inside. And Farley grimacing a little bit, trying to dance his way out of the way of that one. 2 balls and a strike now. And the 2-1 chopper to third. And third baseman Taggart takes it to the third base bag himself. And a wild throw up the first base line. Farley takes for second. 1 run comes in to score. Actually make it 2. Kiefer and Benz come in to score. And the Hardhats now lead 5-2. Another crucial error for Casper. And Farley dug deep to go to second base and now limping his way off the field. I guess Judd Jensen will come on to replace him. And Farley exits. It will be Judd Jensen to take over at second. Score is 4-2. The out at third retired Benz. Kiefer came in to score. Bouncer up the third base line, foul off the bat of Marian Saylor. 2 outs, man at second base in Jed Jensen. 4-2, the Hardhats lead now. 3 runs in this bottom of the 6th inning. Against Hornecker, the new arm. Jensen takes off for third and dives into third base with a stolen base. Hornecker not looking too much at him. And Saylor looks at ball 1. Outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Amarian Saylor. A walk his last trip. Pair of strikeouts before that. The 1-2. Breaking ball high. Even count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hornecker set once again and the 2-2. Swung on and lifted in a shallow right field. That drops for a base hit. Amarian Saylor into the hit column. An RBI single for him, and it's 5-2 Hardhats.
To the plate is the DH number 23, Kai Jackson.
Now Kai Jackson. 8th man sent to the plate this 6th inning. All against Hornecker. First of a doubleheader here today. Right past the 12:30 bottom of the 12 o'clock hour. Hornecker comes set. And the first pitch, a line drive, base hit into left field. Amarian Saylor was running on the pitch. He goes first to third, being sent around third now. The throw is cut off. The throw to the plate, not in time. Saylor scores standing up, and up to second goes Kai Jackson. I think everyone was surprised, including me, that Amarian Saylor was sent around third base. But it's 6-2 Hardhats now. The hit and run executed with some perfection. First pitch to Hayden Hollick. Runs inside with a breaking ball for ball 1. Hollick 0 for 3. Bouncer back to the pitcher and a couple of strikeouts. Now facing Hornecker for the first time. The 1-0 runs inside and hits Hollick. And he's on base for the first time today, and the Hardhats have batted around here in their 6th inning. Harrison Good let things off. He steps back in for his 4th at-bat of the ball game. 2nd in the 6th. Hornecker set. 2 on, 2 outs, and Good looks at ball 1 high. (1-0) swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two on, 2 outs. 6-2 Rapid City. Hornecker a long pause as he stared down the runner at second in Jackson. Good ask for time. Another arm going down to the bullpen now. And Harrison Good lines one into the 5-6 gap. Jackson being sent around third to throw to the plate is not there. They hang on to it, and it's another RBI base knock. 3 straight RBI singles for the Hardhats. It's 7-2 now. Boy, all it took for the Hardhats to get their bats going is to get past the starting pitcher. And they've scored 6 runs in this inning. Be a new arm on the mound. And we'll take a quick step aside. Shane Taggart will take over on the mound when we return here on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales Service and Recreation. The Hardhats now holding on to a 7-2 lead with 6 runs in this bottom of the 6th inning. After finally chasing the starter, Jordan Tharp, out of this ball game. The Hardhats came into this ball game after trailing after 5, a 1-10 record, trying for that second win. Now leading 7-2, and Casper will be down their final 3 outs in the top of the 7th, and they'll have 9, 1, and 2 of their lineup. So Shane Taggart, the new arm, check out his numbers on the season, as well as the new third baseman, that's Connor Bartheloma. And first pitch to Harrison Good, misses downstairs, actually to Dylan Marsh, misses downstairs for ball 1. And Marsh looks at ball 2. He ducks out of the way of the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes to pit and count now. Hardhats now out hitting the Oilers 8-6. 4 errors for Casper in this ball game. Taggart set and he sidesteps and deals, and Marsh looks at ball 3, low and away. So 2 arms throwing in the bullpen for the Hardhats. Both right-handers, so not sure who either of those are. The 3-0, Marsh goes after it and lifts it into deep left center field. Back is the left fielder, and a sliding grab in deep left center field by Carter McLean. Hardhats take the lead, 6 runs in this inning, and we head to the top of the 7th. Hardhats leading 7-2. Back in a moment on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast Booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation. 7-2 our score. The arm on the mound, Harrison Good, comes in to try and finish off this ball game as he did last night. Recorded the save last night in a 2-1 victory. This not a safe situation, a 5-run advantage for Harrison Good, and the Hardhats tap their Hardhats around him to start this 7th inning. It'll be Ashton Armstrong, Thomas Strokes, and Grant Nipper.
New left fielder is Parker Henny for the Hardhats.
First pitch from Harrison Good, a strike called right above the belt on the fastball, 0-1. Ashton Armstrong, the right fielder, 0 for 2 here in game 1 of the doubleheader. The 0-1. Strike on the upper inside edge, no balls and 2 strikes. It was actually Thomas Strokes to take over at third base for the Whalers. The 0-2, high fastball. Armstrong ducks out of the way of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big gap up the middle. Shading Armstrong to either side. The 1-2 popped up behind the plate, out of play. Ball and 2 strikes, the count remains. It was a backwards K in the second and a bouncer to second in the 4th for Armstrong. Good comes set, the 1-2. Breaking ball, he ducks out of the way of another one. Count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Game 2, scheduled first pitch, 1:30. And Armstrong fouls off another one. So Palmer Jacobs' day is done on the mound. He finishes with 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. Swing and a miss now from Armstrong, and finally, on the 6th pitch of the at-bat, Armstrong goes down swinging for out number 1.
The batter, number 29, Thomas Stokes.
Now Thomas Strokes swings through the first pitch, 0-1. No balls and a strike on Strokes. He's 1 for 2, an RBI single in the second. And that one runs inside and hits him right on the backside with a fastball. Strokes jumps around a little bit past the first base bag. He looks to be all right. A little extra padding on his backside where he got hit. One out, runner on first, 7-2 Hardhats in the first pitch. And Grant Nipper and ducks out of the way of it. 1 ball, no strikes. Harrison Good, a nod of the head, comes set, and the 1-0. Fastball called a strike at the top of the zone. Back pick throw down to first, not in time. Even count, 1 ball, 1 strike on Nipper. Grant Nipper is 3 for 3 in this ball game. All singles, an RBI in the second. 1-1 misses high, 2 balls and a strike. Good, ready once again at his chest, the 2-1. Downstairs, off the plate, and it goes back to the backstop. Up to second goes Strokes. Runner on second now, and a 3-1 count on Nipper. Harrison Good toes the rubber once again, right down the middle of the rubber of the 3-1. And Nipper has to duck out of the way of it. It's a 5-pitch walk. He's on base for the 4th time today. Stays at 3 for 3. Here's Caden Wilcox. 2 on, 1 out. Harrison Good, a pressure-filled 7th inning last night. Gave up a walk and a single before recording the first out. And the first pitch to Wilcox, high and tight. He had to duck out of the way of it. The 1-0 from Harrison Good is a strike on the inner edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good set. Long pause and a pickoff move over to first. In time, they got him. We've seen that move from the Hardhats to sneak in there, and Grant Nipper is out number 2. Very quick move from Harrison Good. Hollick slapped the tag on him. Nipper out at first. 1-1, called strike 2 on the inner edge, and the Oilers down to their final strike. Game 2 of this series, game 1 of the doubleheader. The 1-2. Swing and a foul tip back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 7-2, still our score. Runner on second and 2 gone. Strokes the lone man on base now. He's at second. The 1-2. Breaking ball. Just got a piece of that one. Wilcox had to back up in the batter's box and still batted it away. Somehow got a piece of it. The 1-2. Fastball up and away. 2s across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, a runner on second, 2 gone. Good ready once again, and the 2-2. Breaking ball, chopper to third, off the glove of Wyatt Anderson, fielded by Kiefer, a strong throw to first, not in time. It'll be runners on the corners. Ruled a hit on the scoreboard at least. For Caden Wilcox. Shane Taggart steps in. Runners on the corners. Oilers still trailing 7-2. This one popped up on the right side of the infield. Hayden Hollick underneath of it. He makes the play. Out number 3, and the Hardhats victorious, and they will win the weekend series with Casper. Victorious in game 2 of 3, 7-2. We'll take a 30-second step aside and come back for a Pioneer Bank & Trust postgame show after this on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome to the Pioneer Bank & Trust postgame show. Pioneer Bank & Trust is proud to support local sports, and they want to be your trusted partner for all your banking needs. Pioneer Bank & Trust is local. Visit pioneerbankandtrust.com. Hardhats victorious in game 2 of this 3-game set. 7-2 the final score. And a big bottom of the 6th inning is what did it for the Hardhats. Quick look at the box score in this one. Casper jumped out in front once again. 2 runs in the top of the second this time instead of the fourth like we saw last night. The Hardhats immediately countered with 1 in the bottom half of that second inning. No score to the third, fourth, or fifth inning for either side. And then finally, Jordan Tharp, the starting pitcher for the Oilers, was chased from this ball game. They finally got a reliever in there. It was Nolan Hornecker. And the Hardhats batted around, ended up sending 12 men to the plate in the 6th inning and scored 6 runs in that 6th inning and improve to 20-10 on the season with their 7-2 victory. Harrison Good recording the final 3 outs of this ball game. Post 2 falls to 10-11, a game under 500 now on the season, with one more game here in Rapid City coming up in about a half hour. First pitch scheduled for 1:30 p.m., so about 40 minutes rather until game 2. So until then, my name is Adam Birch. Thank you so much for tuning in for Game 1. Make sure to find us once again for Game 2 at 1:30 for first pitch here in Rapid City. Until then, this has been Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on Hardhats TV and Fox Sports Rapid City.